Week 65 on a Geek Week in review. We're going to talk D23, and that guy's not Ryan.
The Geek Week in review.
Hey, what am I doing here? Well, I was in the middle of doing an episode of Good News. How did I? Okay, this is some kind of voodoo magic, but you know what? I'm here now. What are we talking about?
Hiya, Dave. Hello and welcome back to the Geek Week in review, episode 65. 65. And as you can see, we have Dave from Displays Model Behavior. Dave, you joined us on episode 3, and now you're back on episode 65.
I did. I joined you in the before time, the long ago. You've got a long way, kiddo. I'm impressed.
It was. Thanks. Obviously, if you are watching, please do check us out on the podcast. Check out the website, geekweekinreview.co.uk. And of course, it's me, Jacob's Toys, and a wonderful one and only SuperSorrell this week with Dave Displays Model Behavior.
Where my intro was. What we got? That was so long without introducing. That's why I was like, am I here?
I kind of had to go back 65 times. I've introduced you as the one and only SuperSorrell. I couldn't not do it on this one. I was all blown away that Dave's here. So, but no, it's a good week. It's a good week because we've had D23. We've had the big Disney Expo taking place all weekend, and yeah, mixed feelings on it. But there was some good stuff. There was some bad stuff. There was some mediocre stuff. But yeah, so I don't even know where to start really, because we've got all the kind of regular stuff, and we've got all the D23 stuff. So what do you guys want to do?
Well, do you want to start out with the random Disney stuff that we're probably not going to talk about too much? We start there and then get that out of the way, and then we can move on to the big boys like Marvel.
Yeah, we can eat our Disney vegetables and then have MCU pudding.
Yes, that's it. That's it. With a little sprinkling of Star Wars as a side dish.
Because there were a couple of things from Disney that I kind of was like, yay, and then a couple of things I was like, really?
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, so I mean, we got the first live action trailer for The Little Mermaid. Yeah, looked okay. Meh. Live action version prequel to Lion King called Mufasa. Who asked for that film? Who on earth asked for that?
I thought that the cultural zeitgeist after that live action Lion King came out was, okay, that was a bad idea. And then apparently not. I guess it must have made enough money because they're doing it again. But that's fine. That'll just be another film I'm not going to watch.
More importantly, why are they not doing a live action version of Simba's Pride? The Lion King 2 or Lion King 3, like Ranger's Scar or whatever it was.
Because we have to find out how Mufasa got his dice pendant or something like that. There's going to be something like, oh, how did this thing from Lion King happen? It's like, geez, okay.
See, for anyone that doesn't pick up on that, that was a little solo hint there, a little solo, yeah. Only because I watched it the other day again. Well, ironically, I put myself through it again. Talking of live action Disney though, Pinocchio came out because as well as all the stuff that we got as part of the D23 Expo, Disney Plus Day also released a load of stuff, didn't it? So we got like Love and Thunder came out. For those people that didn't pay for it in the cinema, I love, like, okay, I like it in a weird kind of, I hate to like it. It's kind of Iron Man 2 vibes going on. Like, I'm like, yeah, this is cool, but I don't like it, but I do like it. But all the hate for it on the internet has kind of resurfaced, and all of a sudden people are talking about it being like the worst ever MCU film. And I'm like, hang on, we had all this like a few months back. Like, come on.
Although it is the worst ever MCU film. just saying. Like,
it's yeah. I think that like it's hard for me because I enjoyed it as part of a bigger thing, kind of, you know what I mean? I was like, it's, you know, when you go to a theme park, you don't kind of judge it based on the worst ride, do you? You kind of go, oh yeah, and that ride was there as well. You kind of talk about the big ones, and I see it like that. Whereas the thing that really swung it for me is that I sat down to watch it with my kids because they loved Ragnarok and that, and they kind of got bored, and I was like, oh man, I feel a bit embarrassed now.
Yeah, some of it I like it's like the bit where the God Butcher is in that cage with the kids, he just appears out of the shadow. Loved that. I thought that was dead creepy and sinister. But then there was like bits in the film like just how Mjolnir just suddenly helps Jane Foster out of nowhere. And I get they did that. He did that whole whispering to it, saying, "Always make sure you look after Jane." He may as well have given it a kiss while they were at it. But you know what I mean? Like, it was like one of them little weird moments of like, it just didn't make sense for me. He didn't follow the comics properly, and
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not
about
right
15 minutes into watching it in the cinema, I was thinking to myself, this should have been called Thor. Well, that was easy because it was just like Gore's about to die. Oh, but now there's an oasis. That was easy. And oh, he's about to be killed, but there's a necro sword. Well, that was easy. It's so many conveniences that just not a fan. Not a fan.
No,
But there is
I think
Disney stuff that I am a fan.
my biggest problem with it, though, just before we do move on from Thor and then we can just lay him to rest, is that it should have just been an all-out kind of 80s metal nostalgic, like the really cool 80s films. If they had done that with it, I kind of could have forgiven the kind of craziness of it, but it kind of just fell in this weird kind of space. And I was like, you know what? It should have just been proper metal, like really like Stranger Things-esque kind of 80s. That's my theory of it. But let's not waste time on Thor because we could be here all night.
That's it. We got a lot to talk about.
Pinocchio did land on Disney Plus. Did you guys watch it? Have you seen it? Are you a fan? Not a fan? No.
I didn't know it was actually out on Disney Plus. That's I didn't know it was going straight to streaming. Well, that's what I'm doing tomorrow. Then I'm gonna watch Pinocchio. I'm interested. I want to see this.
Yeah, it's got Tom Hanks. I'm holding up high hopes for it. Tom Hanks is all right. He's an actor. It's
got a really good cast. I've watched half of it so far. It's worth watching. I won't give anything away. No, it's pretty true to the animation, but it just made me think of it when you said Little Mermaid. I'm open for Little Mermaid. I'm not gonna cast any judgments until I've actually seen the film. I'm not,
I kind of like the idea of something being sort of whimsical and charming, and I think it could be kind of lovely. So I've got a lot of nostalgia for that.
My only problem is Disney did a special to the Little Mermaid for the 30th anniversary, and they used, I can never pronounce her name, but it was the girl that did the voice of Moana. She was the live action Ariel for the show, and then they used Queen Latifah as Ursula. They used Shaggy as Sebastian.
The crab.
And do you know what? That is the best casting I've ever seen. And then Emilio Estevez, wasn't it? Was Emilio Estevez as the chef? And I'm like, it's like that is just the perfect little cast. And then they've gone ahead and made a live action film with randoms in it. Like, no, you had the perfect cast.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. I didn't know that was a thing.
It was a brilliant little show on Disney Plus. It was good.
Little Mermaid's one of my favourites. I'm not afraid to say it. It's 2022. A grown man can say Little Mermaid's one of his favourite Disney films.
Well, my favourite is coming very soon, which they announced Peter and Wendy coming straight to Disney Plus. That sounds good. And Jude Law's going to play Hook.
Captain Hook.
Holding out hopes for that.
Yeah, I didn't know about that, but Jude Law's always good fun, good quality. If he's got something good to be in, I didn't think he really did much in Captain Marvel, but I didn't think he had much to work with. If he's playing Captain Hook, that's going to be a scenery chewing kind of role. That could be great fun.
That could be. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
But did you guys get to see the second trailer for Hocus Pocus 2?
I haven't watched the
new trailer. So the new trailer came out for D23 Day, the Disney Plus Day. And that kind of laid to rest any kind of jitters I had about this film being crap. Because this second trailer really shows you the proper storyline that they're going for. And it actually is completely different from the first film. It's not just a retelling with the same witches in it. It's a completely new story. And it looked pretty good.
Awesome.
And it showed us the, I forgot his name, the zombie. I know the guy. I know. So he's coming back in the second film. It showed them digging him up out of the ground at one point, and it's the same actor's back as well. Apparently, the same guy inside the suit.
Oh yes, it's the same guy who does all the costume work. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I can remember his name. But he's done loads of things, hasn't he? He's
like super famous, but it's one of those names just can't stick in there. But he's great. So is that coming straight to Disney Plus as well?
Disney Plus on September something or other, late September, ready for Halloween.
It's very soon, isn't it?
Fantastic.
It is very soon.
That was all the Disney kind of news. They did have Disenchanted, but I'm not sure if anyone's overly bothered for that. But 20 years after the original film came out.
I really enjoyed Enchanted as a film. I thought it was really cool and quite a bit of a spin on the whole Disney princess things. But I don't know if we needed the sequel. The
trailer's showing us the entire story that they're going for, and I'm like, I like trailers that give us a bit of story, give you the idea of where they're going with it. But This was like we're showing you the entire movie in 10 seconds.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it, and I watched the trailer, and now, like you say, I feel like I know the whole plot.
You clearly know that she's going to end up being the villain. She lives long enough to become the villain type role, and she locks her daughter away in the tower, and it's clearly the retelling of Cinderella. So
yeah.
I don't need to see it.
Oh, well. No, exactly.
That was all the Disney kind of stuff.
That was Disney.
There was some merchandising, but we can talk about that in the toy section of the show if you want.
All right, so let's talk Star Wars briefly then before we go on to the big hammer of MCU. Now the trailers that they did show. Have you seen the trailers, Dave? Did you see any of the Mandalorian trailer?
You see, Ash, you're calling me out, but you say that. However, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I'm not a Star Wars guy at all. Used to be. I'm waiting to be won back. Star Wars. I'm a spurned lover. Like, I used to adore Star Wars, and then Star Wars didn't adore me. So I'm looking forward to Andor. I'm looking forward to the whatever the High Republic thingamajig is. Yeah, like those. I'm here. I'm a captive audience. I'm saying, win me back, Star Wars. Win me back. So I'm still waiting. I'm ready to get hurt again.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, they didn't really share all that much because the Mandalorian trailer was dropped, and that had already been leaked online because it was shown at Star Wars Celebration, and so that had already been seen online. So there wasn't anything about that.
Does he land on a planet and then get told that he has to go and do a quest of some sort?
Yeah,
I'm just spitballing a potential story idea.
It's and Grogu gets up to some hijinks and causes a bit of problem on those missions. But
and we all learn a lesson.
It didn't give me, as a trailer, it didn't give me anything different. It's a continuation of what we've had, and there was nothing in there that kind of really made my jaw drop. And I'm excited for it. I like the Mandalorian show, but there wasn't anything massive. And then they showed us a trailer for Tales of the Jedi. Is that what it is?
Look forward to that, Tales of the Jedi.
So this is an animation.
It's basically a prequel to Clone Wars.
Yeah, it's series 0 of the Clone Wars, essentially. So it's all the kind of origin stories of Dooku and Ahsoka and all that kind of stuff. So it looks good, and I love that style of animation. Like that, the Clone Wars style of animation is very kind of, I don't want to say nostalgic because it's not that old, but it pulls me into that time when I was kind of like won over by that side of Star Wars.
Yeah, a lot of people are hyped for this because obviously it's the voice of Christopher Lee's son, and it's also the son of Liam Neeson. So
that's sweet.
They're playing their own fathers, which is kind of cool. And they sound like them, which is oddly weird. Like when you first hear Dooku speak, and think that's Christopher Lee's son, and he sounds just like his father. He's got the same sort of like talking like that. Can't think of the word. But he's got the same sort of speaking pattern and stuff. And that could be a very good series. And I hope once they've done this, they sort of like span it out and do some like early tales of maybe like Anakin and Obi-Wan, like the stuff we've missed between episodes 1 and 2, like the growing up of Anakin. There's like a tale of the Jedi could be cool.
Because it's like, a lot of potential.
It's one of them. Yes, it's one of them series where, because obviously we're doing the origin of Ahsoka and the origin of Dooku, you don't have to kind of stick to any form of linear path. You can just jump around the timeline and do the origin of anyone, basically, or just random storylines of people.
I think the standalone episode, like standalone self-contained stories, that could actually be really appealing. I'd be happy to like just pick and choose a few ones that I hear look or sound interesting. So especially if it's that kind of animation as well, it's very pretty.
What's interesting as well is that they've listed it as shorts, haven't they? That's how they've kind of tagged it. So I don't see that as a 2-3 minute long thing, but I think they're going to be kind of standalone stories that you just pick one up and you watch it, and it doesn't tie into any of the others. So
it's 6 parts. It's 6 parts, and each one's 20 minutes.
Right.
So basically, you're getting a mini movie between the 3 episodes of each character, because 3 is going to be for Dooku, 3 is going to be for Ahsoka. So you've got like 60 minutes. So you got an hour basically of animation between each character.
That's cool. I can get on board with that. Andor was the other one that was kind of the big talking point. Didn't give us anything new. Didn't share anything extra.
But that is the one I have the highest hopes for. I really think looking at that trailer, it looks a bit different. It looks more involved. Like it looks like a show that you might actually have to pay attention to. And if like that's the case, then I want to get sucked in. So I'm genuinely excited for that.
my big hope for it is that there's, I don't want to use the word Easter eggs, but if there's tie-ins and stuff, similar to how Rogue One was, but it's not just an in-your-face person in a costume. It's not like, oh, look, this person is this from this movie. It's kind of, you had to listen and you had to kind of put two and two together and go, oh, hang on, if they're saying that, that's that which actually takes place there. And I hope that Andor kind of follows that suit, and it's clever tie-ins and it's clever callbacks. That would keep me interested.
Now they've cast the live action Hera. I wonder whether she's going to be like the guest appearance, because we've already heard her in Rogue One. They already announced her as Captain Syndulla, and you see Chopper in the actual film, don't you, in Rogue One? So she's already kicking about at this point. I know this is set before Rogue One, but she's clearly already part of like something of the Rebels. So I mean, it'd be cool to maybe hear her being mentioned again, or have an first on-screen appearance.
That'd be fun. And I think that was it, wasn't it? For Star Wars,
for Star Wars, yeah, they didn't do too much.
And then
Marvel dropped a bombshell.
Marvel just came and just brought everybody, didn't they? Just brought everybody
They've been
out.
busy little beavers over at Marvel Studios. They've got a lot going on.
So let's start with Loki, because Loki's the first series 2, isn't it? It's the first kind of follow-up series. And that's being filmed at the moment here in England, isn't it? So, but they actually did pull them out. So you had Loki, Sylvie. Who else was up there for that? Oh, what's his name from the Goonies, isn't it? And I know I don't know the name of the actor, but from Goonies and Everything Everywhere All at Once and Indiana Jones. Pronounce his name. Yeah, I can never pronounce his name. Know. And I don't want to be offensive. But he's in, and he actually came out on the panel. I don't know if you guys caught it. He actually came out and he said, hang on, is this not the Indiana Jones panel? And just made this joke of it and stuff. But he's in it.
I like that guy.
I'm interested to see where he is. And Woody Harrelson was obviously, not Woody Harrelson, Owen Wilson. So I was watching Solo the other day. Owen Wilson was there as well. And they didn't really say much. They just said, yeah, series 2's coming and it's exciting, and they didn't give anything away. Did you guys see that a certain Man of Steel has been cast in an unnamed role for Loki?
No.
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Henry Cavill has been cast in an unnamed role for Loki series 2. And my wife took great pride in going, oh, Jake, look, and showed me on her phone. And I was like, oh, wow. And she was like, hang on, did I know something before you did? And I was like, no. Technically, that was the same time. We found out at the same time. She was like, no. I knew this before you. But any speculation as to who he's going to be or where he's going to pop up?
Well, the rumor mill, from what I was reading, was that he's going to be Hyperion, which is kind of sweet, that he would be essentially Marvel's version of Superman, which is kind of fun. And you guys will have to help me out here because, as we all know, I am a fake Marvel fan. Are the Squadron Supreme, they are from a different reality, aren't they? So that would make sense with Loki being different realities and different timelines and stuff. And so to be honest, that could all tie together.
The way that the MCU is set up at the moment as well is I think they've done something very clever, because a lot of comic book fans throughout the MCU's kind of timeline, at least in the last 10 years, have kind of gone, oh yeah, this is great, but that doesn't quite work because it's this comic. And whereas at the moment, I feel that what they've done with the multiverse thing is it's kind of blown anything out of the water so that no one can really complain, because all they need to go is, multiverse. It's no timelines and that kind of stuff. So however if that's what they're going to do with it, I wouldn't even complain about how they're going to do it. I'll just be like, yeah, that works. I've just
quickly had to Google Hyperion. I know who he is, but I don't know the storyline of Hyperion, but he literally is Superman.
Yeah.
The super being that would be known as Hyperion came to Earth as a baby, sent from a surviving planet of the Eternals. Like, oh my God, that is literally Superman.
Yeah.
No. He is a man who can be considered somewhat super. All right. Legally distinct. He's Superb Man. With a B in there.
Awesome guy or something like that. There's different ways of wording it. But yeah, I love the DC Marvel kind of crossover, the way they've got the same character and then the identical same character with a slightly different color palette or something. So the fact that we're at the stage now where we're getting these guys in live action is fantastic, because I think it's just going to be really funny seeing the casual fans' kind of opinion, especially if that is who he's playing, because they're all just going to go, "Oh, Marvel are just trying to bring Superman into the MCU." Like it's no. Go
And then
just have a little
millions
bit
of fanboys around the world will go, "Well, actually,"
exactly.
a billion voices will cry out in unison. Actually, Squadron Supreme.
I'm trying not to get too hyped up about who he might be, because I just feel that it could be one of those moments where we could all talk about who. It's going to be a Mephisto moment, isn't it? Where everyone would just talk, and then it'll end up just being like a chief in the TVA or something like that, and totally kind of thrown away opportunity.
That is true.
But yeah, there wasn't a lot to talk about with Loki. Which one should we go on to next? I'm trying to keep the lower ones, the early card ones here.
There was an appearance by Ironheart on stage, wasn't there? She came rocking on in the full armor. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, did she? Because I haven't seen any of the actual conferences or presentations myself. So she came on stage in the armor. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. She came on stage in the
she
came on as a silver and then came on in the armor to show the costume off to the D23 crowd.
Did you see that? Has that been shared as a clip by someone? Because I haven't seen that.
No, all the phones got taken off them as they entered the thing, didn't they? Henry was telling me everyone got the phones taken off them as they entered the room. They got enveloped and had to pick them up at the end.
There are a few. There are a few.
Though,
yeah. I managed to watch most of the panels, but what happened was that when it got to trailers or big parts like that, it cuts off. So they were pirating the event, but respectfully. And that's the best way to share things. It was like, I'm gonna do this, but I am gonna cut it off at the trailer part and stuff.
Yeah, there was like Black Panther 2, wasn't there as well?
But Ironheart,
sorry, go on. Yeah.
Just before we move on with Ironheart, they did have, and I forget his name, but the guy who was in Hamilton, and he's now come over as what's his name? The Hood.
Yeah.
So the Hood is.
That's right. So is that Black Panther Wakanda Forever that he's going to be appearing in, or is that a TV show he's appearing in?
No, in Ironheart.
Ironheart TV show. Yes.
So Kevin Feige said that what's really interesting is this is the first time where they've had the kind of mystical, magical kind of side of it with the Hood and the tech side of it with Ironheart going against each other. So it's going to be, and that's what I think is going to make it really interesting, is you're going to have the scientific tech versus the mystical, demons and stuff like that. So that could be really cool. And there have been a few leaked pictures of him kind of walking around with the big red hood on and everything. So I think it's a really cool one. And I think all of a sudden, I've got him at hand. This guy is going to shoot up in value, and everyone who laughed at him as a figure is going to go, how much to get one of these grails of mine that I've always wanted? Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm excited for that. So, but Wakanda Forever was next up. They kind of done a little feature on that, but we're knocking on the door of that now, aren't we? There's not a huge amount that they could.
They kind of confirmed Shuri is Black Panther, they kind of confirmed that at D23 that she is literally Black Panther now. That was pretty much it. But we kind of got that from the Lego sets and all the leaks we've had anyway. So we kind of gave that away early, didn't we?
And the comic books, like she takes over as Black Panther. It's I don't think she'll hold the mantle forever, but I think that she's going to have a period of time with it, which is fun.
I can see them doing that with Black Panther going forward. Is having a rotating cast of Black Panthers, like a revolving door kind of thing. I think that could actually be a nice way of doing it, and I'm excited to see Shuri as Black Panther. I think the actress who plays her, I know there's like a bit of controversy around her, but I think on screen she's charismatic and likable, and I'm excited to see what she does with it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's going to tie in with Ironheart as well, because Riri's going to appear in Wakanda Forever. We're going to see her first on-screen appearance is going to be in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And then we also had the Marvel Studios presents a Marvel production of Miss Marvel in the Marvels. And we had all three of them out on stage, all three of them in the same room at the same time for the first time ever, which was really exciting. But again, they didn't really tell you anything.
No, and did you hear everyone's comments about the trailer?
No. What were people saying?
IGN basically was tweeted as saying it was cute. So like that worries me. The fact that they just said, "Oh, yeah, Marvel's like they announced everything else, like, oh, Werewolf by Night's gonna be awesome, and this is gonna be kid. And yeah, the Marvels are coming in. It was a cute trailer, and I'm like, oh, that means it's bad. They just don't want to say bad.
That's it.
Oh,
IGN
man.
don't like to ruffle any brows or upset anyone. So yeah, cute might be damning with faint praise.
Yeah, that's how I read it. I read between the lines. They put cute in, you know, in little brackets. I mean, yeah, that kind of means it might not be that cracking. But that's just a trailer.
It's interesting you mentioned a trailer, because naturally what they did with a lot of these panels, they kind of rolled the actors and actresses out and they kind of talked a little bit, but the ongoing joke was kind of Kevin Feige going, is there anything you'd like to say about it? And the actors are like, oh, what can I say? Like, oh, let's watch this. Like, and it was, but they weren't really giving anything away. But that's a trailer I was really hoping to see. I was hoping they were going to release it afterwards, especially with all the hype of the Miss Marvel TV show. They probably could have kept on that train by getting this trailer out. If it's out there and it's already produced, now would have been a good time to get that out while people are still like topical about Miss Marvel and talking about it as a positive show, because it did have good reviews and it did have a good following and good messages and all the rest of it, regardless of kind of what people thought of the character. I'm a bit concerned about the Marvel's movie. I don't want it to just be kind of an unnecessary team up film for the sake of it, and I think that they might fall into that category. That's my opinion. I think they might. People might kind of be like, "Oh, what was the point in that?"
It's tricky because all three of those characters are all characters that I don't really feel have had the chance to really build up a big following. You know, I mean, obviously we had Captain Marvel with her movie and her appearances in the Avengers, but that was sort of met with lukewarm reactions. And then similarly, we've just had the Disney Plus show. So it's not like they're doing a film where it's Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man together. And you're like, wow, yeah, of course I want to see these guys. That sells itself. Whereas with this, they can say like, oh, it's all three Captain Marvels. You'll be like, okay. You know, so they've got to do something. Like, I hope that when the trailer does come out, it's not just cute. Like, for me personally, they'll need to like show something that'll make me go like, wow, I need to see this, as opposed to watching it and going, wow, that's definitely more content.
Because the thing is that their powers are very, compared to the comics and stuff, the powers are very different. They're very complete different. I don't get how those two characters, other than having the same name and the fact that she fangirls over being, you know, her and that, it's like, I don't get what their storyline could be, because their powers are complete opposites, really.
Yeah, and this is my concern. I hope that it's not just a movie setting up kind of Miss Marvel's place in the MCU. And I'm a bit concerned that it might just be an entourage movie that's just pushing her.
I kind of like the fact that they're including Miss Marvel, but I wish they would have waited a little bit more until we've got like some of the, because we've clearly got the younger cast coming up now. You've got the younger ones coming up. I think she'd have had a better movie opposite Tom Holland Spider-Man, and then like some of the other like younger characters like the Wiccan and Speedster and all these kind of new Avengers that are popping up, the young kids. I think she'd have had a better time with them with movies. But shoving her straight into a galactic movie with Miss Marvel fighting things in space, that's just like, I don't see that as Miss Marvel's character anymore. She's like a street level hero for me, not a cosmic.
I'm really hoping that I'm kind of Guardians of the Galaxy impressed, whereas I go into it thinking, why are they doing this, and come out of it going, that was the best thing I've ever seen at this point in time. Like, you know,
it can be.
I hope, but it's got potential. So that was the Marvels. Speaking of kind of passing the torch and young ones coming up, you got Captain America, New World Order. So Sam Wilson's official first Captain America film. And I like that they didn't call it Captain America 4 or anything like that. It's just a new Captain America kind of spin-off. Couple of interesting things about this one that I'm quite excited for. Isaiah Bradley, isn't it? Actor that plays him was on the panel, so he's in this New World Order. So he's obviously going to have a significant role in it, which is quite cool. I'm excited for that. I'd really like to see some kind of flashbacks, kind of callbacks to his time as the super soldier. That would be quite exciting to see. The guy that played, I'm terrible with names, but the guy that played the guy in the military that took his Falcon suit at the end is back, and supposedly as the new Falcon, that he's going to be in it as the new Falcon.
He's new Falcon.
Yeah, he was in Top Gun, wasn't he? He was in the Top Gun film. And Kevin Feige even made a little joke about he took a liking to Sam's wings and stuff. So there was all the little hints, but that's been leaked. But I think the biggest piece of news, and I forget the actor's name, but the guy that played in The Incredible Hulk and got
Tim Blake Nelson. That was the one.
There you go. He's back as the leader. So that little kind of tease in The Incredible Hulk all those years ago has finally come to fruition, which is exciting for us long-term watchers.
So happy to hear that. I love Tim Blake Nelson. I think he's such a great actor. And I was probably one of the people who was most disappointed that we never got any follow-up on that plot thread. And I think just like everyone, I'd pretty much given up that we were ever going to see anything from the leader, and especially from him as the leader. So the fact that we are getting him to come back and just we're getting this do-over, that makes me really happy. That gives me a huge sort of level of interest in Captain America. What is it? New World Order. I think that's going to be a big selling point for me.
Yeah, I think it's a genius move on their behalf, because I think for anybody that let's not sort of beat around the bush. There is a huge kind of collection of people that aren't down for this version of Captain America, and for whatever reason don't want it to kind of don't believe that it should be going ahead and stuff like that. But I think that by including a character that's so far tied into the MCU's history, really kind of solidifies its place in the MCU, and I think that's fantastic. I'm really excited.
That's one thing I've loved about She-Hulk is all the references to the Edward Norton Hulk. I've loved that, because the Edward Norton Hulk is like the unloved stepchild of the MCU, and I love that they've incorporated that properly. That's really great.
It is, and it is an MCU film. That's what cracks me up. Like, people still deny that it is, but it is there. It's part of the MCU, and it's really cool to see two characters now from that film have a re-go or a reimagining or something, like with Abomination and now the leader. Is there anyone else? Is Liv Tyler going to show up at some point? Is there, what's his name from Modern Family?
Modern Family. Ty Burrell. Yeah, he was Doc Samson, wasn't he?
Yeah, is Doc Samson going to show up in Planet Hulk? Like, is it like it could happen?
Well, I mean, the Disney Plus MCU shows are so ridiculously bonkers now that you could absolutely incorporate his character of Phil from Modern Family. You make Modern Family part of the MCU. Like, it does turn out he changed his name. Witness relocation.
That's
just
what happened.
Go all in. Yeah, absolutely.
that's actually what happened. But yeah,
with New World Order, do you think Eli Bradley will eventually become the Patriot in that film? And this will be the first time we see him like don the outfit,
as in the younger, the grandson.
Yeah. What I'm thinking is, I'm wondering whether, obviously, bringing back I can never remember his name, the older guy,
Isaiah.
Isaiah. It might be to basically play. I'm wondering whether his shield, because he would have had one, is going to be the one that Patriot has, the sort of squarey triangle one.
Must be.
And then obviously he's going to hand that down to his grandson, and he's going to put on, because like the Patriot costume is quite oldie looking. I can imagine that being the costume that his grandfather would have worn at the time. So it's kind of like I could see him donning it, and then they're all like, "Who the hell are you?" And he's like, "I'm the Patriot." And then obviously then he gets his own suit for the next sort of section of Marvel, and like they can modernize it. But it'd be cool to play comic book homage to that shield and suit for a little bit in that film.
Yeah,
see him coming to his own.
I'd like that. I go on.
Oh no! I was just saying it can't be any worse than the Captain America suit that was designed by Phil Coulson for the first Avengers movie. So as long as it's not like that, we're going to be okay. No problem. Unfortunately, that was Phil Coulson's last legacy, and it's like, oh, Phil, we shouldn't have let you do that one.
I wonder how the leader's going to play into it, because Sam Wilson's kind of Captain America has been, for lack of a better explanation, very street level so far. With like the Falcon and Winter Soldier, it was very much a kind of a street level thing, wasn't it? I don't know.
it could just be that they're basically using a plot of some things in the film to set up the leader. They might not necessarily, it could be a complete thing that we might not even get leader as the villain in this movie. They could just be setting the leader up for future MCU films within this movie.
Yeah. One way or another, it's definitely
I'm already picturing the post-credit scene where it's been a mysterious, like, a mysterious mastermind the whole time, and they'll have the post-credit scene where you just hear these voices, and he's like, don't worry, we'll be successful next time. And then, of course, he spins around in his chair. So says the leader. Like, oh! But that would be disappointing, because I want to see Tim Blake Nelson do his thing.
That would be, but it could be. But that was my biggest question coming out of it. I was like, oh, how are they putting these two together? Like, what is it that they've got planned?
Because I'm still seeing, I'm still seeing New World Order as them all arguing over the shield. I'm sorry, I still see that as a continuation of Falcon and Winter Soldier and stuff.
Well, that would be the old world order.
It could be.
Like, are we still arguing about this?
It could be. Secret Invasion. We got a trailer, an actual official trailer for Secret Invasion.
Very, very brave, I think, of them in that trailer to not have anything that looks like a superhero. No real superheroics. Lots of action, lots of running around and shouting, but no costumes, no bright colors. And I think that might be them sort of going, hey, look, we're doing something different. And I'm kind of down for that.
I just didn't get what it was about. Like, if I didn't know anything about the comic books, I had no idea what it was about. Like, you got like a split second of a scroll kind of in there as well. But
it's because you need to watch. It's because you need to watch the past 10 years of post-credit scenes to find out where he's been. That's the problem.
It was for if you didn't know better, if you didn't know anything about the storylines, you'd think they would just give in Sam Jackson a series because it's Samuel L. Jackson. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
I've always had that from the start with this. That seemed the whole idea of plot. Like, everybody wants Secret Invasion, so they're kind of like, yeah, we'll do what the fans want. We'll give them Secret Invasion. But it feels like this should be a major moment in the MCU, and it feels like nothing's built up to it except some post-credit scenes. And it does feel a little bit like Sam Jackson's an awesome guy. He's been with us 10 years. Let's give him a starring role. And it just feels that way to me a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not excited for it whatsoever. I saw the trailer. I was like, man, what was that?
I feel like this is Secret Invasion in the same way that Age of Ultron was Age of Ultron. It's Secret Invasion in name only. It is a story that involves Skrulls doing some secret stuff, but we're not gonna have. I don't think we're gonna have any revelations about this superhero has been a Skrull the whole time. No, there's probably gonna be some like ancillary character, like that guy who was playing Gallagher and thought we wouldn't notice. Yeah, that was a Skrull. You'd be like, oh wow, they planned that the whole time. So I think it is going to be more sort of like political intrigue. I mean, not like for like House of Cards or anything, but it will be like, this senator is actually a Skrull. And that's going to be more what to expect. Yeah, it's more espionage. Yeah.
It could be fun. Like, the fact that they're doing it as a TV show, because it is, isn't it? It's a Disney Plus TV show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything had the Disney Plus logo on it this past week.
Yeah. But the fact that it's a TV show, it makes it easier. Like, I can watch an episode and kind of digest it and go back and pick it up, and so I don't know. It's what it was, Daredevil Born Again didn't really give us much, did they? Charlie Cox and what's his name?
Vincent
D'Onofrio. Can I forget? But they obviously came out and didn't have anything to say or show because it's not even started filming yet. So Kevin Feige said, we've not even started filming yet, but this is the new logo and these are the guys doing it. And they've said that it's very much a retelling, that it's kind of, we're getting a new version of it all. So that would be interesting.
I was hoping they were just going to go, who these guys are, let's get on with it. Like, I don't like this whole having to go back and retell it again.
I hope it's like, I hope it'll just be like quick flashback.
Yeah.
That's all, because we know that he is Daredevil already. So it's not like we have to go through that all over again. So
no,
that's good.
See, I don't think when they say retelling, I don't think it will be like an origin story and all that kind of stuff. But interestingly enough, at the end of that panel, Charlie Cox did sort of say, "Oh, well, if they want to see something, check out this." And then they kind of showed the clip for She-Hulk, but we didn't get to see it.
Okay.
And that's where they showed that. So we do know he's showing up in She-Hulk very soon. So I think once we've seen that She-Hulk episode, we'll know where this version of Daredevil kind of fits. And it's it's the yellow and red suit at the end of the day in She-Hulk, so that's exciting.
That would be fun to see.
One that you probably, I'm guessing, Sorrell, that you love this. Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, I fanboyed a little bit too much about this. The fact that it's in black and white. The fact that it's in black and white, noir looking. Oh, beautiful.
Proper Hammer horror. Yeah.
It is proper old school. I love it. And it's the fact that they've called it the Halloween 2023 project gives me hope that if this does well, they might do it again for another monster in 2024. If this does well, this could be a good way of introducing characters that are a bit more obscure, like your Dracula and stuff from the Marvel comics. Because by the time next year rolls around, I think we'll have Blade out. So I mean, they could do next year's project could be Blade versus Dracula. I mean, that fanboy.
Who wouldn't be down to clown with that? I mean, that sounds like a good time. Yeah.
But yeah, Werewolf by Night just looks so good, and I was really up for that. I'm really looking forward to that coming out. It's out very soon as well.
Yeah, and naturally they've gone for the older version, haven't they? They've gone for the more original story as opposed to the re-release. Because Taboo rewrote or reimagined the Werewolf by Night story recently, and I was kind of hoping it was going to be that version just because his name's Jake, and I was like, yes, it's you. But it wasn't. It's the older version. But most interestingly for me was Man Thing, that you see a split second kind of glimpse of Man Thing, and I think that's what you're saying about them obscure characters. Like, apart from that really dodgy, overly sexualized film that we got back in what was it, late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, I never saw that one. That one passed me by.
Good. It's not good.
It's not good.
Sexualized. I'll have to check it out. Actually,
it's not good. It's just there are some. It's just one of those typical films that unnecessary scenes that do nothing for the plot, but we
straight to video.
It's a movie. Yeah. I remember buying it. I think I got it from HMV for like $5 or something, and I was like, "Yes, Man Thing. Marvel's doing a Man Thing film." And man.
And you watch it, and you're like, "No, Man Thing, no."
It's what it's and bizarrely enough, it's not one that I have a rich kind of comic book history with. I just remember thinking it was a cool character. Swamp Thing on DC and Toxic Crusader and all those kind of like swamp-based green characters. Man Thing was just Marvel's version of that. So story-wise, I don't really know a huge amount, like from before I see in the films and stuff. So I think introducing characters like that in something like this Werewolf by Night project is really good because it will make them known and make them more accepted. Whereas doing a Man Thing TV show, I don't think would have gone down very well at all.
Yeah, I think that would have been a harder sell. Certainly doing Werewolf by Night, not as an ongoing series, but a standalone Halloween project, that's a great idea. And going so outside the box with the way you're doing it, that's probably what I'm most excited for, or what I was most impressed by as far as the trailers are concerned. I think they've really captured a feel with that, and I think it's really effective. So yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Definitely. And then I think the last one that we haven't mentioned yet, Thunderbolts.
Of course.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about this.
Can I just before we move on, I've just realized so this is very coincidental that he has shown up, the Werewolf by Night has shown up at this point in time. And Man Thing, one of Man Thing's powers is to help people travel through the multiverse, through his roots. Because he plants himself and helps people, and he can help people travel through the multiverse. Are you telling me that they've not just shoved those two characters together on a whim? That they're going to release this as they could cross him over very easily now.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. I forgot all about that. We could go to the Heroes Reborn universe. There you go. This thing writes itself. Absolutely fantastic. Let's bring it on. Bring it on. Actually, funnily enough, that's a good segue as well, because Man-Thing was at one point a member of the Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts, he was. Yeah.
But one thing I'm disappointed about, which like the sort of, we know that it's not going to happen. I think it would have been so much fun if we could have at least done a movie or a TV show where it was the classic iteration of the Thunderbolts, where it is a bunch of villains pretending to be heroes. Because this is clearly like MCU. It's Black Ops. That's just like, looks like it's it's like they're a Black Ops group. That's it. I think it would have been so much fun if Marvel had actually gone all in with it and been like, hey everyone, this is our new team of heroes. And of course, Marvel Comics fans would have been like, oh, well, they're actually villains. But the general public would have been like, oh, awesome. And then you get that revelation. But either way, I'm spitballing about something that's not going to happen. So I think it's a shame that we missed out on that. I thought that would have been fun.
I don't know. I mean, my initial thought, but the first thought I had, I saw the lineup, because they called them out on stage, didn't they? And then they showed the graphic at the top as well. And my first initial thought was like, oh man, I guessed like so many of them, because I did a picture like about a few months back and I put it on Instagram. If you haven't seen it already, then I'll put it side by side. But I guessed like Ghost and Taskmaster and what's the name? Yelena? Yelena, isn't it? And who else though? I guessed a handful of obviously US Agent,
Red Guardian.
But I didn't put in Red Guardian. I didn't put in Winter Soldier. Put in like Abomination and Zemo, I think.
Well, that's it. Those two are conspicuous by their absence.
Yeah, but I don't know. And correct me as well, but my understanding of the Thunderbolts was that it was like Thunderbolt Ross is tied in with them. Like that's because the Red Hulk's in it.
Yeah, he is.
Is the Red Hulk in it? Has that been confirmed?
In one of the versions of the comic books that I remember the Thunderbolts as Red Hulk, and then the other guys. Like that's how I remember it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was a thing, right? I haven't just kind of like Mandela effect.
But the Thunderbolts
in my head.
The Thunderbolts were a concept and whatnot long before Thunderbolt Ross had anything to do with it. It's not like that's where they derived the name from or anything. In fact, funnily enough, I never actually put two and two together.
No, but see, I just kind of, because Thunderbolt Ross was always there, I just assumed, the Thunderbolt's going to be in, they're going to tie him in with this. And so many people were talking about Red Hulk and stuff like that, but then naturally that's not going to happen now. But I don't know.
This team kind of started way back with like Baron Zemo and the Masters of Evil trying to rescue Goliath. Very old Avengers. These for Thunderbolts. And there's been so many different iterations of the team over the years, to be fair. They could have shoved anyone in there. Really.
But that's why I was so shocked that Zemo didn't show up, because he's obviously still kicking around. And he's one of the kind of original people you think of when you think of Thunderbolts. Yeah. But there was a couple of things I didn't get. So how are they having Winter Soldier and US Agent working on the same team after the way that Falcon and the Winter Soldier went down? Like there's a lot of dialogue that we're going to have a whole part of that movie have a scene where basically
Florence Pugh goes, have a fight, it'll do good for you, my daddy says, and then they'll have a little scrap and then they'll be friends. A bit like
it's going to be that typical pro wrestling booking of it's this tag team, but can they get along? It's like, well, that's pretty much
But also as well, you've got 3 members of that team that have a shield as their main thing, like with Red Guardian, US Agent, and Taskmaster. Like the 3 of them have shields. Like it's very shield heavy. Like have one member of the team that has a shield. Like have you?
That's funny, because I was about to say actually Bucky doesn't have a shield. And I was like, oh no, wait, you're not even counting Bucky. Jeez, Taskmaster as well. Blimey, yeah.
Bucky probably picks up a shield from somewhere, and they're all just going to have shields. That's going to be the team's kind of.
Why not just call it Shield Avengers? I don't know. It's just Shield Apocalypse. Unbelievable! Come on, Disney.
All I can say is I hope it does well, because otherwise they have just ruin Florence Pugh's MCU like run,
Yeah.
because she's doing all right so far. She's a character you can kind of get behind. She's the only one of the entire crew that I'm excited to see again, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like US
Yeah.
Agent after Winter Soldier, it really didn't leave me wanting to see more of him. I was hoping to see him as the villain of the next Captain America movie kind of thing.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I
don't
know.
know.
I remember that. I remember that I enjoyed Ghost in Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I can't actually remember anything about her. So I know what her deal is, but I can't really be like, oh, I'm excited to see her, because I mean I am, but I don't really recall much. So that'll be kind of new for me.
Yeah.
So like,
So
sorry,
I was going to say no, but I was similar with Taskmaster. I was so hyped for Taskmaster to be in Black Widow, and then I felt a little bit let down. And then by the end of it, she's just kind of there. And I don't know. I just don't know if I'm excited to see her again in a team up film, and especially then teaming up with two people that were on the other side of it in the last version of that character that we saw. So there's a lot of people that fought other people in this scene, which doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah. It does feel like the B list of characters they've just shoved together to make a movie or television series. It just feels very, I don't know, forced at the minute. Maybe we'll change our minds when we see a trailer. Maybe it'll all change. It'll look decent. Maybe it's going to be the Expendables of the Marvel's universe. I don't know.
See, I think they're going more for the Suicide Squad type thing. That's what I think they're going to try to attempt. But what I found really interesting was that none of them actually had new costumes apart from Red Guardian. They all looked very similar to the costumes that they had. I think Taskmaster's face looked a little bit different, but Red Guardian had a whole new costume, which I was kind of, why did he only get the new costume? But people on I shared the picture on Instagram, and I'm just going to the comments now because some of them were saying, like, there's so many conversations going on this thread, and some of the things that they said were really, really good. So, like, obviously the biggest one was people saying about Zemo not being in it and why that wasn't it. One of my favorite comments was, I can't wait to see how they all punch and kick a super villain, because there's no super powered characters in that team. They're all kicky punchy people, which is
very true.
Fun. That did make me laugh. Somebody did say Red Guardian's a miss, but Winter Soldier was the leader of the Thunderbolts after Zemo, so that does make sense. So that makes sense as to why he's in there, and that might
there
answer
is some lineage.
Questions.
Yeah, I thought that Hawkeye might turn up because Hawkeye was the leader for a time as well.
Hawkeye took it, didn't he? There's someone said you got 3 Captain Americas, 2 Black Widows, and 2 hooded tactical women, and that's the line of the team. And I was like,
we are doubling up a bit. It feels like we're kind of putting a hat on a hat with some of these guys.
Yeah. But then a lot of the biggest one was people complaining about not having Zemo, followed by with Abomination just having a reintroduction to Marvel. Why are they not? Why are they not in this? It makes no sense.
Makes sense.
But I don't think this is the final lineup, because one thing that I did point out to someone is that all the characters that you're seeing in this team are people that we've seen so far in the MCU. So they've not introduced any characters that we've not seen. They've not kind of gone, oh, well, here's the introduction of so-and-so. So I think this is kind of the promotion that they're leading Thunderbolts with, but I think there's going to be a couple more layers to it. I think there's going to be a couple more people. But I don't know. I'm excited about it. I think it's probably the one that I was most hyped for out of all of the Marvel reveals.
Yeah, so certainly. I think I was a little disappointed with the lineup. I think the one I'm most excited for is Werewolf by Night, but still, Thunderbolts, I'm definitely going to give it a go. I'm sure that's going to be at least something that has my interest. And then it's up to Disney. It's like, it's up to you to keep me. We'll see.
But yeah, I think for people that weren't at the event, it was a shame, because there was clearly a lot of trailers shown, and there was a lot of bits kind of given out in regards to like costumes and stuff like that we just didn't get to see. If you weren't there, if you weren't in the room, you didn't get to share it, which is a real shame. And I kind of hope that they would leak online, or they'd be released on Disney Plus or something. So, but I suppose the big takeaway from it is there are trailers out there. that we're going to get very soon. This isn't a Spider-Man nowhere home situation where we're like, kind of give us a trailer. The trailers are out there. Yeah, and I think that was all the Marvel, wasn't it?
That was it. Yeah, that was all.
Yeah. Good work,
That was
lads. We nailed
all
it.
the Marvel. Yeah, done. And then there was the Indiana Jones panel though as well.
Yeah.
So Indiana Jones. I'm
Yeah,
not sure how I feel about this.
Well, it's funny. I clicked on an article just saying that Harrison Ford has been quoted as saying that this will definitely be his last outing as Indiana Jones, and it's like, that is not news. Like, you don't. Of course it is. The poor guy. He's been through enough. But look, it can't be worse than Crystal Skull. I hope. So,
Whoa. Don't quote that like that. It could be worse. Like, everything could always be worse. Let's be honest.
It could be. But also in that soundbite, Harrison Ford also was quoted as saying that actually it's really good. And whenever the star of a film before it comes out tells you that it's a good film, then you can pretty much take that to the bank. I mean, why would they lie?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Is Shia LaBeouf's character going to reprise his role as, what is he called? Mutt or something?
God, I hope not. I was assuming, when I said that it was going to be better than the Crystal Skull, I was assuming that he's not going to be in it. No shade to Shia LaBeouf, who I'm sure is a lovely guy and a good actor, but that did not work.
No.
That did not work. No.
I don't know. Part of me kind of wants them to make up for, because the Crystal Skull, there was so much expectation for that to be something really good. And it kind of just left the Indiana Jones kind of story. It ended on a flat, so I'm kind of glad they're going back to it. But my concern is that Harrison Ford is a lot older than he was back then, because that was that's got to be 15, 20 years ago that film came out now, surely.
Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah, it was long enough. Yeah, it was. He was old then. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's much older now. So he, no disrespect to the guy, he's going to be a lot more limited to, we're not going to see him whip cracking and swinging across, caverns of snakes and
2008. 2008 Crystal Skull, people.
2008. Wow.
Jeez,
wow.
Man.
I just met my wife at that point.
And you took her on a date.
I've now been married. I've now been married and had a child. There's a lot's happened since then.
But what's your first date to go and see the Crystal Skull in the cinema?
Oh God, no.
I tell you what, I married my wife in 2008, and our first date was to go and see Rob Zombie's Halloween. That was a terrible first date movie. Just saying.
Wow.
I say we got divorced the next year. Maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. Correlation does not equal causation. However, there could be something there.
I'm gonna show my age now. I remember taking someone on a first date to see Anaconda. How's that?
Wow.
How's that for a bad first date?
A 1997 classic.
Yep. I was like, I know what'll do it. Good scary film. Jennifer Lopez. Let's do this. That came out. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for that. I apologize. Please can we have a do-over? But yeah, Indiana Jones, I don't know. I haven't really heard much about what the plot is. I haven't heard much about what they're trying to do with it. I've tried to stay away from it.
They're trying to show you as little as possible before you go to the cinema, to make you go to the cinema.
Now, as a segue onto merchandising, am I right in thinking that Hasbro has the rights for Indiana Jones now?
And they do, and they're going to announce it at HasbroCon.
There you go. So, there's potential to do a bit of hype around it, but I hope it doesn't go down the same route as kind of Ghostbusters did, and they push out all this merchandise and fans of the original stuff kind of go crazy for it, and then we get the film and then everyone kind of disowns it.
Well, the new Ghostbusters did something right because it's got a sequel, so it can't.
Yeah, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed. I enjoyed the new Ghostbusters.
I did. Don't get me wrong. I'm in the camp of but I'm talking like merchandise. The Hasbro line isn't the most popular of their repertoire, is it? Because I think
I've said before. I reckon sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I think the mistake is that they hit so hard in all the kind of nostalgia. So you got all the kind of older figures, didn't you, from Ghostbusters 1 and 2, and then they threw a load of the newer ones, and everyone was like, I'm not invested in these characters yet. I don't want them. we all saw the film, and then people went, wow, this film is actually really good, I want those figures, and then they were really kind of hard to come by because they weren't on the shelves anymore. And I hope that they don't kind of do that with Indiana Jones, where they kind of give us all the old figures. I'd love the old figures, don't get me wrong. As a collector, I'd be like, yep, give me a Raiders version of Indiana Jones on my shelf. That's an absolute must. And then they'll push out a load of new stuff that people won't really buy, for us to then see a film that is actually really good, and we'll then want that merchandise that's not available. And if they do a £400 HasLab whip, I'm just giving up. I'm giving up. A hat and a whip for £400, 20,000 back is needed. But yeah, sort of throwing a bit of shade there. But let's be honest, like the
tier one will be a golden monkey.
Yeah. No, tier one would be some bones. Come on, it'll be like the Star Wars sign. You get go
a pretty for the box.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure with Indiana Jones and the Rancor, they could reuse that cardboard background. There you go, fellas. It wasn't
and
for
the
nothing.
bones probably.
There you go.
Funniest thing is, all the people that backed it would get that cardboard background, and printed on the back would be the Rancor one that they, oh, we had to reuse it. So, but no, I'll throw a little bit of shade at some of the HasLab projects. There's some very good ones. There's been some questionable ones, but go on, merchandise.
I'm really hoping that with Indiana Jones, as much I know Hasbro is much into their 6-inch stuff, Indiana Jones wouldn't work in 6-inch, and I've kind of thought to make a video about this. It just won't work in 6-inch because of Indiana Jones is all about the adventure and the scenery and everything that goes with Indiana Jones. If you make 3-inch, you can sell big set dioramas, you can sell Jeeps, you can sell bikes, you can sell planes, you can sell all the things that Indiana Jones needs for the adventures that he's having. You do it in 6-inch, you're just literally going to have an Indiana Jones on your shelf. Everyone's going to buy Indy. Who's going to be bothered for all the random side villains and characters from the films? Not many people, only the diehards. 3-inch, you can sell it at a reasonable rate. Stick in, like, you can rebuild that whole thing of the ball coming down, and have the golden idol, and you can have all that as a play set. And Hasbro do well with old school play sets. If they did that as like a proper collector's set, that'd be awesome.
So thinking more sort of retro G.I. Joe type.
Yeah,
style.
Yeah, like old school.
Yeah, I think what would be nice is if they stuck to that line, but then they did maybe like a 6-inch figure in the style of their other figures, just as a one-off, like maybe even the Indiana Jones from each film, so that collectors of 6-inch or collectors, even the retro collector size, could then go, actually, well, I'll get this as a centerpiece, as a display piece, but then I've got my play sets of my 3-inch, 4-inch figures.
Honestly, think about it. Who else? Like, it's been a while since I've seen the films, I'll admit, but other than various versions of Indiana Jones that Hasbro would produce anyway, because they like to reproduce things, but other than various versions of Indiana Jones, who else would you put in that line? Like Melty Face Man? Who else would you put in there?
Yeah, I mean, you I suppose you could have the villain, Balok, the first guy from the, but like even after that, you can have the priest guy from Temple of Doom. But
there's no way Hasbro are gonna make a bunch of Nazi soldiers. That is not gonna happen. There is gonna be no swastika, merchandising from Hasbro.
Awesome Red Skull crossover there for the Marvel.
That's what I mean. It will have Hydra logos on everything.
That's it. We know that the Fuhrer was, searching in the desert for trinkets.
Yeah.
So there is.
What about,
as far as my headcanon is that Indiana Jones is firmly established in the MCU, so that works for me.
What about Sean Connery? Have the old man as the old dad character as a 6-inch figure? That'd be amazing.
That'd be fun to have with that.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go with it. I kind of hope that it's play sets and retro figures.
I just can't see anybody sat there at home right now going, "Oh, I can't wait to get my Linda Hamilton action figure." I can't see that being a thing.
Yeah. Although Indy and Short Round, that would be a fun pair. But there you go.
That would be good. But can you imagine if they did like a 6-inch Indy for each film, and then a 2-pack Indy and Short Round for that one? Like, there's potential there. But you're right. If they do it as waves, then it's just not going to work. It's not going to work. There's not enough character and solidified characters for them to pump out loads. But as a 3 3/4 inch playset or a 4-inch figure or whatever, like G.I. Joe kind of whether they go for the 3 3/4 inch or slightly bigger, because they had an Indiana Jones line, didn't they? That was a slightly bigger than 3 3/4 inch back in the 90s, maybe it was, I think. You could pump out the soldiers, and you could get away with doing the Nazi soldiers without making them Nazi soldiers, because they'll be small enough that you could leave out that detail, if that makes sense. But I'll be interested to see what they do. Hasbro PulseCon. Hascon.
Yeah, we'll find out at PulseCon.
Yeah, that's at the end of this month, isn't it? So
yeah, 30th, isn't it? I think. Yeah.
Prepare your wall faces now, people.
Yeah. Have you had an invite?
I'm preparing. I haven't had an invite. I know that Hasbro are aware of me, which is kind of nice. So that's like something. But that's even
shout out.
Even ruder now, because like, oh, so you do know who I am, but you don't want to have me on the wall, which also is fine. That's fine.
How do you think me and Jacob felt? They know about us, but they didn't even mention us. They know we're on the radar, but they just didn't even care enough about to say who we were.
No. It's funny because it's human nature to always get upset about something. Like, I didn't see it when it happened live, and people messaged me. They're like, "Oh, Dave, you got a shout out." I was like, "Oh, great! I'm going to go watch it." And of course, they start doing the shout outs, and it's like, shout out to the Froosh, way, Charlemagne Prime, way, and then like going down the list, and then like model behavior. Oh, come on! Where are all the model behavior fans?
I don't know what they're doing this year though with the Hasbro PulseCon, because obviously they did the fan wall last year, and that was very much we were still sort of in the lockdown kind of pandemic kind of thing. So having people on a screen in the background was very topical of the time that it took place. So I don't even know whether they're going to go down the same route as that.
But then again, we didn't find out last year until last minute. It was like the week before that we got the contracts to sign. It was like the week before. So I mean, they literally left until the last minute.
Yeah, I'm very on the fence with it. Like I would love to do it again if the opportunity was there. I'd be disappointed if I didn't get the opportunity to do it again, but I would also like the opportunity for people that didn't get to do it the first time to do it. Because you are just sat there watching the whole convention like on your computer, and then every now and again going, it's kind of, so it wasn't like having a ticket to go there or getting flown out to California or anything. But I wouldn't want to take the place of somebody else, but I wouldn't want to not be invited. But I don't think they're going to do it.
I'm not sure how it was in yours the day, because we were on different days, but I remember in mine, the moment the Power Rangers con ended, literally they all logged out, and there were just me and Bosk that left in the chat, me and Bosk Bounty for Star Wars. Wow. That was it. There were two of us in the whole thing, like, oh, this is bad. And they kept putting stuff in the chat saying, remember, you're on camera. Like, oh, crap, yeah.
I probably won't get invited back. It's over a year ago now, so just about a year ago now that this took place. So I can probably talk about this, but I probably won't get invited back because I dropped the C word in the group chat, totally accidentally. I typed in count, as in count me in, and my big chubby fingers and my excitement kind of just. And then all of a sudden it was like ping, 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 ping of everyone going, Jake, you can't say that. Oh, what? And I was like, oh, man. I had to scroll back up. You know what it's like when it disappears so quickly. Yeah. I had to scroll back up and I was like, oh, no, I didn't just do that, did I? So, yeah, it's probably why they won't talk to me ever again.
It's all right. Steve's still friends with us, so it's okay.
Exactly. But no, I don't think they're going to do that again. I think they're going to mix it up and try something different. That's my...
I do often sit here and see all these people getting chats with like Ryan and Ting and stuff. And I do often sit there and go, oh, I want to chat to Ryan Ting. But then I think, no, we've got Steve Evans. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with having Steve Evans under my belt.
I like Steve. But yeah, I am excited for Hasbro PulseCon one way or another. I think there's a lot coming out this time round. There's a lot of new stuff and new lines, and like the starting line as well. Like they're bringing that back. And okay, that's very specific. It's for sports fans and sports fans I like sports. Action figures. But sports fans and action figures is a very niche crossover. It's
diagram
it is but but don't get me wrong, if they did like a Michael Jordan figure or a Kobe Bryant, I would probably buy it just because of I was very much into basketball for a long time, and I'd probably buy it. But is it too niche? Is it, I don't know who's excited about this. There seems to be a lot of hype about it, which is great, but is it a line that's going to be solidified and we're going to see loads of figures come out, or is it going to be a short-lived line? I don't know. Same as the Indiana
Jones. Is it
Jones.
bad that I would really want Michael Jordan and his Looney Tunes attire rather than the Chicago Bulls?
That'd be customizers were going mad.
Because the fact
I
that
want
Super
a full
7,
line of Monstars.
Well, it's the fact that Super 7 are making Super 7 announced that they're doing Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck next. Either they're doing the Looney Tunes next. So I mean, if you get a Michael Jordan, then you literally can get a Super 7 Donald and all the characters. Sorry, Daffy, not Donald. Daffy and Bugs, and you can get all the characters from Space Jam in the same size as Michael Jordan. So like
that would be incredible.
I want them all in Looney Tunes squad gear.
I'm just very excited for like even just diorama pieces. Like the only thing we've seen for the starting lineup is the display stand, which is obviously the backboard and the hoop and the net and stuff, and then like a bit of a core. Have you seen this? And there's like a display stand attached. I just want to do that so I can pitch kind of Spider-Man versus Venom on the court and just stuff like that in a photograph.
Action figure photographers are going to have a great.
I think that's going to be very popular.
You imagine a picture of like Puck slam dunking over the Hulk or something. It would just be awesome. So I'm definitely going to pick up something there. But it's definitely an exciting panel. There's a lot packed into those couple of days. HasLab though, we still haven't seen the Marvel HasLab, the Ghost Rider HasLab. And I put money on the fact that they were going to announce that before PulseCon, and then it was going to be a big hype up during PulseCon. So I'm really shocked we haven't seen anything for that.
Well, I tell you what, guys, while that still hangs, in doubt, I'm afraid I'm going to have to tag out of this one because my battery is running down on my phone, and so I might have to leave you guys to take this episode home. But I thought I'd say this now rather than just vanishing all of a sudden.
No, that's right, Dave. We're rounded up in a sec anyway. So you check out.
Excellent, guys. Thanks so much for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
Dave, good to see you, buddy.
See you, Dave.
See you soon, man.
Take care, guys. Enjoy.
Bye.
Bye.
Cool. All right, no, Dave had to leave, obviously. Battery power and all. Actually, I've got to check mine, to be perfectly honest with you, because mine I wasn't fully charged in before I went live, so I might be doing the same and just leaving you here on your own. So, but no, Dave displays model behavior. Obviously, I'll put his details in the description of the video. Do go and check him out. Does some great videos, great content. But yeah, before we do finish up, we digressed. We started talking about Hasbro and Hasbro PulseCon and all that kind of stuff. So let's just crack on with those last bits of merchandise and stuff from D23, because there was quite a bit of it. Should we start with the computer games?
I was going to say, did you see the fact that they announced the live action Ezra Bridger as well for Ahsoka?
No, I didn't.
So
but we knew that. We knew that before, though, didn't we?
Iman Esfandi and the girl that played Sabine appeared live on stage, and they had a version of the mural, from Rebels that the kind of like spray onto the wall. They had they had like a live action version of that mural to show off. And both characters came out, like the lights came up, and they were both stood facing it, and then they turned around and they were in like the gear and stuff from the TV series. They were in like the live action versions of the Rebels outfits.
Did you see this?
Yeah, and mate, it looks so good.
Oh, I'm gonna have to Google this up.
So good. But yeah, Iman Esfandi looks just like Ezra. He's got the hair and everything.
Yeah.
He looks like Ezra. It's scary. Yeah. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. But yeah, the video games that got announced look cool as well. There were a couple, weren't there? I think like three that got announced, I think. One of which is like a kid's kind of like puzzle game, I think.
So I'm just trying to find it. I can't find it. I will find it.
I'll send you.
I don't know, like the racing one. Is that what you're talking about? Sorry.
No. There was another one. Sorry, that got announced first, which was like a kids version. It's like based on the new style of Mickey Mouse cartoon. that's been on Disney Channel.
Oh,
that
yes,
new style.
yeah.
So that's like I think that's like a kid's point and click adventure for probably tablet or mobile or something. They didn't really give too much away about that. But the racing game looks cool. I'm looking forward to that. It's like their version of Mario Kart, really.
That's exactly what me and my son said. We were just like, so it's essentially a Disney Mario Kart. But you know what? They showed, what was it? Sully, Jack Sparrow, Mickey Mouse. Who else did they show?
And so the four races on the thing were Mulan.
Oh,
Mickey,
Mulan, yes.
Yeah, Mulan, Mickey, Jack Sparrow, and Sully. But then
Sully, yeah.
In the gameplay trailer they showed at the very end, they also showed you could play as like Mike, the girl that's Mike's girlfriend that's voiced by Jennifer Tilly, I can never remember her name. Sheila or something with the stakes, and Randall. They were all in it as well. So there must be expansions and stuff of like within it, like other characters. But yeah, it looks good. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's, you know, any kind of fun racing game is always, it's one of those ones that you kind of pick it up, you play it constantly forever, and yeah, I'm excited for that. The other one I'm not so sure about, the Captain America.
The Marvel one, I was gonna say that's the highlight.
But I don't know. It's just the trailer didn't really give a huge amount away, did it? It didn't really tell you what kind of gameplay it was going to be, or what kind of the narrative, the story was. And yeah, I just don't know. It just feels a little bit like a cash in on characters we're not going to see on screen anymore. That makes sense. Like Captain America and Black Panther are two, you know, or that version of Captain America and that version of Black Panther are characters we're not going to see in the MCU anymore. And I was like, I kind of get why they're in a game together, but I don't understand why they're doing this game. I don't know. It just kind of came out of nowhere for me.
So the fact that it's
really
saying
know what to...
Yeah, the fact that it's saying World War II.
Yeah.
But looking at, like, if you look at the history of World War II and stuff, there is some elements where it could be good, because like Africa didn't join the war until 1939 or something, and there was a lot of like, will they join? What side will Africa join? Will they join the Allies, or will they join the Axis of Evil? So it's like there's all that kind of stuff going on. Like if they play it that way, like is Black Panther the villain or the hero, and if they play it that way, it could be a very good game. But obviously, as fans of Marvel, we all know Black Panther's the good guy in the end. So the suspense isn't there if that's what they're going for. Because they showed the shield with the scratch on, showing that they're kind of enemies, maybe. But I don't know. It could be good. I'm holding out hope.
The thing that didn't make sense is that shield is almost identical to how his shield looked after Civil War when he first. And so that was my first thought, was that, is this taking place around then? But then obviously the more you read into it, like you say, you can find out where it is. But yeah, I just don't know. I don't know. The jury's kind of out on it for me.
It's definitely World War II because of the song that they were playing, We'll Meet Again. That's obviously famous World War II. It was set in Paris during the
all the
occupation
stuff.
So I mean, if it's set during the occupation and they're playing espionage characters and you have to hide and stuff, that could be cool.
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed style with Captain America.
Yeah, you know what? It could go down those lines, especially with like Black Panther. Like it very much could be an Assassin's Creed-esque game. I don't know. I'll probably pick it up and give it a shot. I just don't really know how to feel about it. I'm not for or against it. I'm just kind of like, yeah, okay, that's happening. Happy days. Like, see what happens. What else did we got? What other merch?
And some merchandising went a bit mental for D23. Did you get to see the lineup of stuff coming out for Avatar? Because their lineup is insane. That
just continued to, like, it just didn't stop. It was just thing after thing.
And what I'm loving is, obviously, we've got Jake Sully and Neytiri in their Avatar styles, which is going to be the 7-inch McFarlane figures. Did you see the box art that showed you the exact size of the Colonel, the human character? So he is clearly about 3¾ inch, or maybe just shy of 4 inches. He comes in the big box still, but he's a tiny little dude, and he comes with tons of accessories.
Oh,
so he's got an alternate head, which has got the mask on and stuff, so he can breathe in Pandora. So he's clearly to scale with the Avatar. So obviously the humans are tiny by comparison. And they're also giving him his AMP, the big robot that he's sat in with the big knife. You can basically put the action figure in the mech.
That's awesome.
So that to me was a selling point. Like I want him on my shelf in the mech, stood next to Jake Sully.
Yeah, that's very cool.
The one thing that's kind of a bit, I call it penny pinching, but whatever you want to call it, is McFarlane have gone to town with the Banshees a little bit too much. So you've got like the same mold, and they've basically repainted it about a million colors and called them all different things. But you're getting Jake's Banshee, you're getting Natiri's Banshee, and then you've got a bunch of other ones they're just calling Mountain Banshees that are all in different colors. Then they've got a mystery mini kind of style lineup, which are like rocks from the floating rocks of Pandora, and then you open them up, and there's going to be a mixture of heroes, villains, creatures, and foliage. And basically, these little stones, you put them down, and they all slot together to make the scenery. And then you build up this giant forest, basically, that all glows in the dark.
That's awesome. That's cool. I always love it when the box or the packaging means something. That's always a selling point.
But the one thing that got me really excited for this line is the giant play sets that are coming out. So there's the one of the forest with the giant log and stuff, and the fact that the characters' feet will stick to it, no matter, like, so you can have them like running through the forest on the log and stuff, like in the film. And there's a button underneath that you press, and it all lights up, so you can have it lit up.
It does look really nice.
The fact that they've done the light up stuff, that to me, they've put some effort into that. That looks good, because there is that element in the film where when they show you the night scenes and everything's glowing, it does look beautiful on screen. So it's visually it's stunning, and I think if you're gonna do merchandise, it needs to be on par with it. I don't remember what the merchandise line was like originally when the film came out. They didn't. There were just no merch, really.
There wasn't, was there?
Really, they didn't produce action figures, as far as I'm aware, because I was collecting back then.
Me too. I don't remember
anything. Because I would have bought an action figure. Because I remember when I went to Disney, I got really excited to get the avatar that's meant to look like me, that looks nothing like me. I got really excited to get that, and that was the first ever Avatar figure I ever held. I don't think I've ever seen another Avatar figure.
It's just some random like bastardized version of.
I'll have to dig out for the next show. It looks nothing like. They're like, you can have an avatar that looks like you, but remember, the avatars are different creatures, and they might not look exactly like you, but it's you. Went through this whole rigmarole of a 3D scan of my face.
It just sounds like saying that you could be on The Simpsons. Like,
mate, the only thing
look like you, but it's you.
The only thing that, I don't have a giant ponytail and a mohawk. The only thing that's different to me, and the only thing that's like me and this avatar have in common, is we both have blue eyes. That's about the only thing we have in common.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Oh,
I paid $150 for that experience. I'm not gonna lie. I paid $150 for that.
That is insane. But it does make me wonder though, because they're doing the selfie series, aren't they, with Hasbro?
Yeah.
It does make me wonder how well they're gonna do.
Well, I'm excited to buy one.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna end up getting one. Like, even though I have like a custom of like my head sculpt already, I think I'm definitely gonna go for one. But I don't know, the bodies just seem a little bit limited. Like, I don't want to be Iron Man or Spider-Man or Black Panther. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
we know that me and you are we can customize. So most of us that are in this kind of like what we do are buying it for the head. We're buying it for that head sculpt. If the head sculpt's good, then I'm buying it for the head sculpt. I'm going to pop that off and shove it on whatever body I want.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. That's why I think I'm in a real kind of, I'm really torn, because I'm like, you know what? It'd make more sense to get a Mandalorian and have like the Mando kind of outfit, because I could use that for something else. But then I want the Marvel box, but I don't want the Iron Man figure.
I'm going for the Marvel Legend one, because I know the Marvel Legend's head will pop off a lot easier than the Star Wars one. But I know the Marvel heads will fit on Star Wars bodies, so I'm going for the Marvel one just to customize it. I'm buying it for the head.
I didn't even think about that. That's a really good point. That is a really good point. But yeah, I'll get it at some point. I mean, I know that it's not launched over here yet. They're going to launch it over in the States first, so it'll be interesting. It will be interesting. But it does make me question though, because let's be honest, there are QC like errors with Hasbro, and there's a lot of people that complain about QC and stuff. So QC on an individual kind of piece that's personalized to that buyer, it could be a minefield of complaints. This doesn't look like me. Like if you had paid for that avatar and it was sent, you probably would have sent it back and kind of gone, well, this doesn't look like me. I would like to. So are they going to have this bin of kind of just generic heads that they end up just selling off, and all these copyright issues because they're selling off generic heads of people? I don't know. I'd buy a tub of heads. I'm not going to lie. I'd buy a tub of heads. I'm just putting it out there. What else did we see? Let's.
So the next one was Disney Mirrorverse by McFarlane. They're on wave 4 now. They gave us a couple of characters that were awesome and a couple of characters that were meh. There's a Baymax in this line, which and then there's the Anger from Inside Out again. But the two that stood out the most that everyone got excited for, Maleficent and Hook.
Yeah.
And they're in, obviously this style that they're doing for this game is very, what do you want to call it? Not what's that style, but steampunk. It's very steampunk.
Yes.
It's very metallic looking and buckles and bolts, and so Maleficent looked badass. She's got like a big piece that you can attach to the bottom of the character to make the cloak like span out. So it looks like the cape like flowing behind her kind of thing. And then Hook's got his sword. The hook is actually fully articulated as well. So you can actually use it for things. And his hat comes off as well, so you can have the head, you can have the hat with or without.
That's cool.
So, and they're the first two of the Disney villains line that's coming with this. So their boxes are slightly different, and they do say Disney Mirrorverse villains. Because nice. At D23, they showed off the trailer for the Disney Mirrorverse Games Villains expansion that's coming this October. And it features Hook, Maleficent, Scar, Hades, and Dr. Facilier and Oogie Boogie. So if they're all getting figures, they're going to be awesome.
Yeah. A Scar figure would be good. Let's be honest.
Scar don't get enough love. That would be cool.
That would be very cool.
But the line that got the most excitement out of everyone that's been spanning the internet is Super 7. You know the Ultimates line?
Yeah.
Disney Wave 4 is going to be giving us Jack, Sally, and Oogie Boogie and Zero.
Yeah. Which
is good because normally Super 7 would kind of like, you get one character here and then Wave 2 you'll get another one, Wave 3 they've kind of shoved all three of the characters you want from Night Before Christmas in one wave.
Yeah.
So, and they're coming with tons of accessories.
It's mad because like Diamond Selected huge amount of Nightmare Before Christmas. Like I've still got one of the Jack Sparrows that comes out with my Christmas decorations every year, like one of my select, and I put him away with the Christmas decorations because he goes on the tree every year without doubt. But yeah, there's been so many figures out there. It's kind of a bold move to sort of readdress this and kind of try to go for a new wave of figures, because I think there is a market out there.
Once you've seen the pictures, you'll probably be buying this without.
I'm already kind of working out whether I just want Jack and Sally or whether I want all of them.
Oogie Boogie's got he's got one head that's like all made up of the monster steaks and bits that's like inside of him. Then there's the one head that's got the snake tongue.
Yeah.
He's got an accessory so you can have the dice in his hand. He's got an accessory so that you can have like him unstitching himself to reveal all the stuff underneath. Jack has got the scientific method book that he reads at Christmas. And he comes obviously with Zero. And then Sally comes with all the nightshade and the spoon with the holes in. And they come with some great accessories.
They're phenomenal looking figures. They really are. But the point I guess I'm making is that Nightmare Before Christmas became a bit of a, I don't want to say cult classic, but it became very popular in the sort of general population. You know, there was bags, accessories, and all that kind of stuff. And you have people that like Jack or even Jack and Sally that don't even really know the film. And Diamond Selects covered that with such a huge range of figures. You know, are the casual fan of Night Before Christmas going to be buying these, or are these really for your die-hard collectors and action figure collectors and stuff? So I don't know. I hope they do well, because I'd like to see more. And I think that this level of detail as well.
A wave 2 that features like your skeleton, your pumpkin Jack and your Christmas Jack and all the variants they could make would be amazing.
Yeah, a pumpkin Jack would be great. No, that would be amazing. And then, or even just like even Santa Claus, like Father Christmas, like, you know, just that Tim Burton looking Father Christmas as one of these.
Yeah, because the diamond ones were good, but I reviewed most of them on my channel years ago. But the problem I always found was the articulation was very limited with certain characters like Father Christmas and Oogie Boogie. I've still got the Oogie Boogie to this day. I love it. But we couldn't do a lot with them photography wise because you couldn't move them. And then I remember I had the Pumpkin Jack and I was gutted because mine snapped within about 3 days of owning it. It's just so brittle.
But that was the thing, wasn't it? Is that you got the thick characters like Oogie Boogie that, like you say, they essentially were the statues, and then you got the Jacks that were so thin and so articulated that you couldn't stand them up. But yes, they came with stands and stuff like that. But like that's one of the reasons why he lives in my Christmas tree, because I can put him in a nice pose and hang him in the Christmas tree as such. But to put him on the shelf just doesn't work.
Yes, so these figures by Super 7, the one thing that it has got going for them is they've got articulation at the hips, the top thigh, the knee, and then the bottom part of the leg as well. So you can put him in those weird like lunging poses and stuff. Like they've got one on the shelf at D23, and he's doing that like spider pose he does, where he's kind of like his legs are like his knees are up here and his arms are underneath him. He's in this like weird hunched up spider pose. Like if they're able to get that kind of pose out of it, and that's just someone at the factory that's done that to put on a shelf or whatever, then these figures could be good.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else? Anything else out there?
Rounded it up. D23 rounded up with the Super 7 announcements. Obviously, Willow's getting the reaction figures that people are excited to see. But other than that,
and there's obviously there's the Willow trailer as well, which is cool. Right in the childhood. Can't wait for that one. I think that's it. I think we've well and truly covered D23.
We managed to do it in 2 hours, just short of.
That's quite impressive going. That is quite impressive going. Right, let's round it up there. Maybe Ryan will be back with us next week. Maybe he won't. He's got commitments. He's at a wedding. Like he's got his life. But if not, we'll try to grab another special guest. Again, thanks to Dave Displays Modern Behaviour for jumping in and joining us this week. Gutted that we lost him prematurely, but he's there. Go and check him out. Check out website geekweekinreview.co.uk for all the details. Go give Sorrell a follow, give myself a follow, and all the rest of it. I think that's about it for this week. D23 done. So coming next week, we haven't even spoken about Cobra Kai. Haven't even spoken about it.
We've got a lot to talk about next week. We've got Cobra Kai. We've got Game of Thrones to catch up on.
Lord of the Rings.
We'll have a good chat next week about it.
She-Hulk. There's loads. So join us next week and we'll talk about all those things we didn't talk about this week, and a load of stuff that hasn't happened yet. So yeah, until next week, keep it geek.
The Geek Week in Review.